Hello and welcome to another Nikomedia tutorial. So I am back from vacation and with fresh energy and and we continue with tutorials, of course. Now I'm reachable again, so yes, if you have requests, questions, complaints or whatever, you can reach me at the usual ways, so Facebook group, Facebook site, email, blah blah blah. I will tell you again at the end of the tutorial, and you will find every information you need in the subscription, in the description. So today I try to record everything in 1440p, so that we have a little more space here to work with, and I think it's easier, and it's at least I think it's easier for me. But if it's too small, everything for you, maybe you are on mobile devices or something else. If it's too small, so just tell me and I go back to 1080p. But I just want to try it once to if it works or not. Okay, so today the tutorial is this one. We will make this one. And I got a question about a simple rolling cube, and I remembered that I have seen something like this, what I did here, long ago, so it's a year, 1.5 years ago, and I can't remember who did this or something else. It was something like this, and so I simply recreated from what I remember, and yeah. Okay, and yeah, the thing here is, I want to show you how you can rotate this cube without keyframes, because it's much easier with no keyframes. We use a little Xpresso, but it's much easier than always keyframe the pivot of the cube, and I will show you what I mean. And of course we will make this everything loopable, and yeah, so let's see what we can do here. Good, we start with a cube, of course, when we wanna first I go here in the tutorial layout. So this should be a layout which you have, so it's almost the same. Let's make this a little bigger here. Okay. Good. Let's start with a cube. And I make the cube here a size of 100. Okay, and bring it on the floor. So maybe 50. It's now on the floor. And bring in something on the floor here, so okay. Of course, now we cannot simply rotate the cube. That's logical. When we rotate the cube, we get something like this, and that looks not like we want it. It should always stay on the floor. Okay, so the first way with keyframes is what I would do when I start with everything and I no idea from Xpresso or something else. I would make a pivot here, so something like this. Name it pivot, and I drag the cube. Now first, let's bring the pivot to the correct position here. So this is the null here, and I want the null here on this edge here, because here the cube should rotate. So now I bring the cube inside, and of course when I rotate the null here, this should be how it should look. But at the time where we have this 90 degrees rotation, the pivot should go 100 centimeters in this direction, so that it always stays on the same position in the x-axis. So the cube should stay on the x-axis. So that means when I now make here, this should be the B, yes. Let's say I make a keyframe here, 25 frames is 1 second in my case. I go to 90%, to 90 degrees. And in this time when I go to 0, go with the x here, 25 to minus 50. So it is 100%. This is the size of the cube. So minus 50. Okay, and when I make this, we get this. So this looks okay, but now we would have to make this everything a pivot on everywhere on each edge, and then rotate this pivot again and bring it back, and rotate and bring it back, and rotate and bring it back. So we get a lot of keyframes and everything. So, and I want to show you how to do this without keyframes, just with a little Xpresso, and it's much easier, you will see. So let's make another null just for the control, for the Xpresso. Control. I bring it here, bring it inside. So, and on this control, I want an Xpresso tag, programming tags, Xpresso. Whoops. Okay. So I want to make every 25 frames a 90-degree rotation first. So for every 25 frames means I need a time node here. Time, bring it in, and I don't want the time. I could make it with the time as well, so I would say every second I want the 90 degrees, but I prefer the frame. So I delete this with double click on this point you have seen here. So I take frames here, and on every 25 frames I want here on our pivot, on the B rotation, bring the B rotation inside here. I want every 25 frames 90 degrees, but now I have to remap here from frames to degrees. So for this we have a remapper. No, a range mapper, not remapper, range mapper. And when I write it correct, it should be here. Okay. So in the range mapper, I tell it user defined is the frames is a user defined input, and the output should be 90 degrees. So I need here degrees. So every 25 frames, I want 90 degrees. Okay, so let's connect this. Let's connect this. Let's see what we get. Okay, that works. So we see, zack, 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 on frame 25, I have my 90 degrees. Good so far. Let's see if it's true. That looks a little, yeah, no, it's exactly 90 degrees. Okay. Now I want the same with the pivot in the x-axis. I want that every 25 frames the pivot moves 100 centimeter in the minus x-axis here. So I go to my pivot here, and the x, this is the position x, and I drag the position x here on the blue corner as well. Okay. I simply copy this range mapper here, control and drag it down. And in this range mapper, both is the centimeter is user defined as well. So I go here to user defined. And now I want to say every 25 centimeter. So 0 is 50. So we are 50 in the x at the moment, you see. And I want to go to minus 50. So we have 50, and on frame 25 I want to go to minus 50. So on frame 0 I am on 50, frame 25 I am on minus 50. Bring this inside, and let's see what we get. Perfect. But now you see when it goes over 25 frames, it contains, this is not what we want. But there is a very easy thing here in the range mapper. I select both of the range mappers here, that called modulo. And with the modulo, it goes to this frame 25, and then it starts from the beginning. And that looks then like this. But you see, the pivot so it makes just a 90 degrees rotation, and then it starts from beginning. And this is not totally what we want, because I want to show you this with the texture, what happens. Sorry. And so let's make a new texture here. Double click in here and double click on the texture. So nice. Just a very simple texture, so surface, tiles, and here I go to lines, global scale of 200 or so. Okay, and drag it on our. Okay. What we get now is something like this. You see, the texture always goes back, because we start from the beginning. We just make a 90 degrees rotation. So we go to here, and then it starts from beginning. So how can we fix this? It's quite easy. We have, our cube does not rotate. I want that our cube rotates as well here, this 90 degrees. And I want that the cube rotates on every 90 degrees, so in 4 steps. So we have here 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, and 4 steps. Good. So what I do now is, I want to make steps here from the frames out. How can I explain this? Yeah, I want to get every 25 frames 1 step. So I make another range mapper here. And first, what I do is quite simple. I have here every 25 frames, so I need a simple math node, a divide, math node, set it to divide, and I simply, so I go in with the frames, and I simply divide it by 25. So when it comes to 25, I get 1. So when I have this output here, make a result node. You see, now it should be at 0. And when I go to here, so I have the first, it's over 1. So how can we watch this better? Let's see, calculate here. Animation refresh. So you see it better now. You see. So the first step, second step, third step. But I don't want these decimals here at the end. So there are 2 ways to get rid of these decimals. Here in the math node, you can go from real to integer. So you have to go 25 here. This gets rid, as we'll see now, 1, 2, 3, 4. But sometimes there is a case you need this this decimal, and so this is not the best way to do this. So let's go back here from the integer to real. And instead of this integer, I use here a float function. So, and when I set this to floor here, I get the same like with the integer, but we have still our integers if we would need it, or reals if we would need it. So I have this now. This is exactly the same. When I go here, 1, 2, 3, you see, this is exactly the same. But we have still here the decimals if I would need it somewhere. So you see that? Okay, perfect. Now I have the range mapper, and this range mapper I disable the modulo here, user defined, and again I need degrees now, and I go here, and one, so the upper, if the first step is here, I want 90 degrees. Okay, so I go to here. We can delete the result nodes, they are just for us, so we can stay or delete it or whatever. And now I need the cube here. I want to rotate the cube. The cube, the B rotation, and give it to the cube. So that should bring us a nice animation. See, now everything works. The texture works, so we can use every texture we want here. We get no jumps in between, no hiccups, no glitches, no nothing. This is the whole rig. That's it. More it isn't. But we can do it a little nicer. So what? Wait. I will save this. File project with assets. Yeah, this is mine here. Desktop. Balance. Loop. Tutorial. Okay. Good. So what if we want to be able to make to change the cube size, and everything should work like now, so but with a different cube size. Now of course it wouldn't work when I change the cube size. Let's go here to the size, and if I go up here, you see it goes into the floor, and the rotation of course does not work as well, nothing. So this is not what we want. Okay, let's do this. The first thing is, I have to think a little bit as well. Yeah, let's make it with the user data, so we have even more nice. So I go to my control here, right click, program tags, and I make a user data tag. You could put the user data direct on the control as well, but with the user data tag I see where I have my user data, so because of the tag. And so I have to guess, is here a user data, is here a user data, or is here user data, so I see it. And I go to user data, manage user data. We need a simple, first I add a new group and bring it out, so I have my name here, then let's say control. Okay, and add data. This is the cube size. This is a float slider. Give it real, and from 10,000, okay. Slider min 0. Slider max, I give it to 500. And the default value, let's see, 100. Okay, that's it. We have now here a user data. Bring in this control here, this user data tag, drag the user data tag in here, and the cube size slider on the red one. Okay, now I go to my cube here, bring the cube in here, and the cube size. I want all the sizes. I just click on the size so everything gets orange, and I drag the size in the blue corner here. So now I have just size here. That means it changes all the three values at once. So that means when I now go to my slider here, you see we have this here. That's perfect. So far so good. the next step is now I need one of the sizes. It doesn't matter which one. We could use sizes again, but I take just the X size here. Doesn't matter. So in this case, at the moment, it's 100 here, and I need here in the range mapper minus 50, minus 50. So by 100, by the size of 100, I go minus 50 and 50. So it's by 50, it's divided by 2. So when I have a cube with 200, it should be here 100 and minus 100. So what we need is a math node. And this goes inside here. And the math node divided by 2. So, and this should be, there is this result here, should be here the lower, and the negative value of it should be the upper output. So I go to here, a lower output and the upper output. Control double click makes the right size for the node. So this is the upper output. In this case, this is the 50. And now I need, on the other one, I need minus 50 here. So for this, I use a simple negate node, which negates this. Let's make a little more space here between. So, whoops and whoops. So everything is the same like before at the moment. Everything should work like before. Let's see. Yeah, everything works like before. And now let's see what we need more. So this is okay, the pivot is okay, this is okay. When we now change the size of the cube, what happens? You see, we go into the floor. So that means we need here an cube and come on, a Y position. So in the cube, a Y position in the coordinates. So it is because now it's the cube is 100, the size is 100. So I have to go 50 up with the cube so that I stay on the floor. It's again divided by 2. So I bring this to here. Make another mass divide here. I copy this down here. This is divided by 2, so I make this, bring it to here, and divide it by 2. So this is the Y position of the cube. When I go now to here, when I go to here, the cube always stays on the floor now, which is great. But when I make this cube a little bigger and make the rotation, you see we go into the floor. This is not what we want. So now how we can fix this. The reason is the pivot. When we go to the side, we go to our pivot, you see the pivot stays here, but it should stay here. And you see that our cube is not in the center of the scene, so the X is not in the center here. So we have to make another thing here. The position X we need as well. So go here, position X, and is again the half, but it should be in the minus, I think. Let's see. Oops. Yeah. So we have to bring a negate node here in this. Again, a negate node. Whoops. Whoops. And now let's see. Now the cube is exactly in the middle here. And when we rotate this here, now We have a perfect rotation here. It doesn't matter how big our cube will be. We always have a perfect rotation. Doom, 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 doom. And that's it. Oopsie. That is our Xpresso. It seems maybe a little confusing, but believe me, if you do this a few times, you will get it, because it's not really hard. It's logic. So okay, this is our Xpresso here. I save this, and now of course we can go to back to 100 here. Everything stays on the floor, which is great. And now let's make first a floor a little bigger or so. Oh, we can do this later. Let's bring in a sphere. 200 is okay for the sphere here. 100, nice round sphere, standard. I think 50 is okay too, yeah. Bring the sphere on the floor, so 100 up. And I go to here now. And now I can simply drag the whole control null up to the sphere here on top. That's it. That means it works still here. This is great. But to be honest, this is a little, when you go to the side, you will see it's not direct, it's floating a little sometimes. So it floats, but this is a jumping, so this jumping would be normal, I think. But if you don't want that it leaves the sphere, you would have to animate the control null here a little bit in the y-axis. So go some frames, control, go down, and go down, and then go up and go up and go up, and so you can make this really really precise. But when you go to do a right angle here, you don't see it. So whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So okay, this is this one. Of course, now I want to rotate the big sphere here as well in the opposite direction. So let's go to the sphere, keyframe it, go to frame 25. Oh, now we can go to frame 100 here in this case and make a full 360 or minus 360 rotation. Whoops. Whoops. See, it goes perfect with the poles of the cube. You see that it works perfect. It's so funny. Save it. And the next thing is simply a small sphere. Let's bounce a small sphere there. Here we'll use a little keyframe as well, but so I copy simply this sphere here. Make this sphere smaller, let's say 30 or something else. Don't need as many things. Go to the side, drag it up on the cube here. Okay. And now I want that the cube jumps every 25 frames. It should go up and down, dong, 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 dong. So what I do is I make here a keyframe. So come on, here in the y-axis I make a keyframe. First, you see I'm at 330 here, but I want to work with 0, so I want to zero this out here. And I can do this if I go to here and say freeze position. So now you see it's 0 here, and it remembers the position here. But I can work here with zeroed numbers, which is much better for me. So I go into frame 0, make a keyframe. On frame about 13, I go up, let's say 100 centimeter. And on frame 25, I go back to 0. But this does not really look nice. You see, it looks not like a nice jump here. So I select my Y here, hit F3, Shift F3 on the keyboard, so I come in the timeline here. See the position in the Y-axis is it. And you see here, this is this linear boing boing, this is not nice. So what we do here is, I select all the 3, they are selected now, see, and I make an ease here, or it's soft, semi-soft here, so see, it's soft. Make this a little bigger. Okay, and now I want more, so I go to this one. Make this jump so and so, and I want it in the air a little slower, so I make this a little bigger here, and I want that this repeats. So I click on my position Y here, and here you see after the animation what should happen. And here I say simply repeat, and you see boing, 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 boing. I need just 3 times here. And it is boing, boing, boing. And this should look a little better. Yeah, that looks much better. Doing, doing, doing. I'm not entirely sure. Oh yeah, the rotation here comes from this one here, because I just copied it. But I don't want this rotation on this small sphere. The small sphere I want more random movement, random rotation a little on the jumper, on the little jumper here. So I go to my sphere, and under the sphere I bring in a plane effector. So I go to MoGraph, Effectors, hold my Shift key and click on the plane effector. And I want not that this works as an effector, I want it as a deformer. So I go to the Deformer tab and say Deformer Object. So now it works like a deformer, not an effector. It should go to the rotation, and here I say, obviously, I say 90. If you want to change all values together, simply hold the Control key and hit Enter now. See? And in the fall off, I make a simple random field. Because a random field I can loop, you see, animation speed 50, and I want that it loops every 100 frames. So let's see what we get. And now this rotates a little randomly here. You can make this a little bit. Here is in the S24 we have a nice thing here. We can go to filter and geometry only on playback. That means now I have here the effector and the gizmo here and everything. And when I hit play, everything disappears. Let's make it a little more, 180. It does not really make it more. Yeah, this is fine. And now I have an idea. I didn't do this in the original one, in my original animation, but I have an idea now. It could look funny if we make this cube something like a soft body. Not really a soft body, but something like a soft body. So that it goes a little inside the cube. For this we need our cube here. And give it 10 by 10 by 10. So, no, 140, 10 is enough. Okay. And I would say we use a collision deformer here. Where is the collision deformer? Here. Hold my shift key. Collision deformer. And in the collider I want a small sphere. Yeah. At the moment nothing should have, little happened. But when I bring the sphere here, let's go Shift F3 in the timeline. And I go to these two guys here. This should be at 0, but when I go down, let's say to minus 15. Yeah. That would be nice if this works. Let's see. That totally works. Perfect. And let it make even funnier. After the collision, I want to use a delay effector. Bring the effector down here, and I wanted to use as well as deformer, but now polygons are points. We make the points. The parameter, just the position, and here I want a spring. Yeah, it springs totally. It totally works. This is funny. Okay, this is nice. Not too much so that we don't get that we don't see it in the loop. So when it loops, we should have no movement of the spring here, of the delay effector. This could work. Yeah, this totally works. That's great. Much better than, again, much better than my original one. So, and now the only thing we have to do is here make here a movement on the floor that where our sphere runs along. So let's try this. So we need new material just to see how it works. I go to here, surface and checkerboard, should be fine. Okay, but in the checkerboard I go now to, I want a cubic mapping, and the mapping should be here, the coordinates, the size should be so that it when it 100%, when it moves 100%, it should move the length of the circumference of this sphere. So this would be simply diameter times b. So when I go to this tag here, coordinates, and then the size, so go diameter, so 200 is the size of the sphere. No, 100 is the radius. Not the diameter is 200. This is correct. Times b. Times simply P. I hold my control key, so I change everything together. Okay. On this plane we don't need any thing. Okay. This is maybe a little big, but for the moment let's see how it looks. And I go back to my coordinate tag and I want to offset here. Yeah. So I go to here, go to frame 100 and offset 100%. That means normally when I go to 0 here, we shouldn't see any change here on the floor. 100, no change. This is good. 0. But what I see is too quick. So let's go to the coordinates again and make it here about a third of the time of this size, maybe. Let's see. I have to test it. So divide it by 3. Control Enter. This looks believable. When I go with this pole, the pole comes here. I think this is believable. Let's try maybe times to divide it by 2. Go back here. Divide it by 2. Control Enter. No, this is too quick. 3 is okay. Back. Divided by 3. Yeah, this is okay. And here in the tag, I'll make it 200, 200. Yeah, this is believable. Okay. This is the whole animation here. And now let's do something out of this. I love this here. Let's give this cube, this small cube, here a little fillet here. I think this is not the best idea. It is a good idea. It's a perfect idea. Save. And now, yeah, let's make a little scene, and then we will simply texture this. I will texture in Octane because we have here again no complicated texturing or something else, so this is a very easy texturing. But the patrons can download the project file later on. The Octane version is already online for download, and the physical render version will come very soon. So if you want this physical render version as well, you can download it as Patreon from the Patreon site, of course. Good. So yeah, let's make something. What could we do here? So, let's make a rectangle here. T for scale. So here we have a nice rectangle. Yeah, make it a little longer, so something like that. I'll make a second one. Make this bigger. T for scale. Let's say here 1000 by 1000. Make this we did often in a spline mask, long Y is okay. Here I want it on or. So that means I can nicely extrude this. Extrude not automatically. The y-axis and make it 20 or something else. 30. Okay, nice. Let's find a nice camera angle first. So what our thing here. Save it. Make a camera. And I want here something like this. See that the bolt does not go too high. Okay. I like this soft body cube. It's so nice. Okay, I can put this, give the camera tag here, protection tag, save it again. I can go out here. So make this extrude here editable, C on the keyboard. Then what can we do more? Let's UL for loop selection and D for extrude. Then extrude this out a little bit. So like that. Make two walls here. So whoops. D for extrude, and I extrude them up here. So something like that. As walls now. Save. Bevel this one, MS for bevel. Going. We see how to just so something like that. Then I make another edge selection. So like this. So another bevel MS. So something like that. Don't need as many subdivisions here. Okay, save. It looks nice so far. In my original one I made here, we can do this as well. Here and here. I for inner extrude. So D for extrude and extrude a little inside here. Now I make a selection tag for these two polygons here. So first I could deselect, I can this make new select, store selection or set selection in older versions. Name this room. So and make here something. Take this. I know this. So I for inner extrude again. So something like that. T for scale. I scale this down a little bit here. I just eyeball it. D for extrude. I have the extrusion from here, still here, so just apply it. It's the same deepness then. Save it. Now I can put everything in a simple bevel deformer. And because in the bevel deformer I have activated use angle, everything which is over this 40%, 40 degrees will be beveled. So you see I've just beveled these edges I want, and not these edges here. But here I can go a little up here, let's say 5. And go in the camera here, so save it. I think this could look nice. So let's make the room first here. I don't need these two here. Save. And now we start to texture. Okay, let's start with the room. So I'll make a simple material here. So I go to my thing here, octane material. I want here a glossy GGX. Then some RGB spectrum here. Why is this here? So good. So come on, I tell everybody I record and bang 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 bang. 1 second, please. So some whatever bluish color or something else. Of course, some roughness, and let's make a roughness map. Maybe something. I take this. I took in the original one, so image texture, and bring this into the roughness channel. Save everything. This is the room. And bring it on the room, of course. Boing. And let's see what we get here. Oh, of course I use my OCTANE Rig here. This is not the nicest. This is just very quick. I try to have very quick response here. So let's see what we get here. So I have to open the live view window and whoops. Okay. Good. I am not entirely sure why I have. Oh, this is why I have, because I have here the floor. So that looks so great with the. So I want this roughness, and I want to see here a little more. So. Let's go to the texture and go down with the should see. I don't see it. Let's bring in here, or let's give this a cubic mapping. This is for sure better. I do not really see anything here. Doesn't matter. Let's bring in a little bump in the whole thing. Now we're talking. Yeah, that looks nice. This is what I like. And for these two things I took a mirror, so I got more movement. So it's very easy to make a mirror material. So make a new octane material, set it to metallic, GGX, and normally I go up here with the 8, and yeah, that's it. Mirror. Save and bring the mirror on the room and give the mirror material here. This is the mirror material and give it. But normally we should see here something. So why does this not? Normally I need nothing here. Somehow that does nothing. Okay, it works. This is. I'm on metallic. So. Something is not nice here. Yeah, I know what it is. That's everything okay, but let's bring in a different HDRI here. For this I have to go in the so, and I want here this guy here. I'm not sure what happened with this. Normally I make a simple metallic material and that's it. Yeah, specular is not, this is glass, this is not, I need a metallic material. IOR. Let's spray a little bit. It seems it does nothing at the moment here. Changes nothing. That's crazy. Good, now I'm here. Now I have it. Was a little strange. So we have our mirrors now. Save. Then what did I do next? I made here something like a carpet. So we have still on the plane, you see, we have still this tag. I just deleted the textures and not the text, and in the tag we have still our offset animation and the size and everything, so it should be no problem to simply put in a different texture here so that it loops. Let's see if it does. Textures octane, and I drag this. Grab it on this guy here. Okay, that looks not bad, but maybe a different color here. This is part of my texture packs for patrons. Image texture, this is okay. Yeah, this I work on an update for everything, but as I say, I'm still alone, and it's so a lot to do. So here I bring in color correction. Where is the color correction? Color correction. I have to do this away. So I don't like this. Yeah. So here's okay. That should work. Now let's see if we see some difference here. Here on this wrinkles, let's see on frame 100. Okay, that's here we have a spot on frame 0. We don't have the spot, so that means here for any reason it does not loop. Why is it? This we have to tackle, because you will see it in the loop, and this is not a good idea. We see it, we have here this. Are we? This image texture. Let's make here a transform. No, we don't need really a transform. This should be okay here, but let's go here to 100. Frame 0. Now it works, I think. Let's find a spot here. Here it's a little darker. I don't know if I see it on the recording, but 100. Yeah, that works. We can do it with the render thing, so I can compare store render buffer. So store render buffer, and let's go to frame 100. Oh no, there is something. This is not correct. So, store render buffer, frame 0. And now let's see. Yeah, that works perfect. Okay, it was the scale. It was the scale here, so good. That works. Now let's make some metallic material for our sphere here. So first let's see if we can get rid of these guys here. There must be some I don't need a help. Settings. Blah blah blah. Embedded quiz. No. Whoops. Oh, maybe I have to start it from. Maybe I have to restart, but that should it be normally. I'm sure it is the embedded GUI. Yeah, but for now it doesn't matter. Okay. Metallic material, I said. So make a new material. See if we have the same problem like before with the metallic material. Not glossy. Metallic GGX. Here I want, this is the sphere, big, and here I want some roughness inside. I dragged something in from before, so roughness, and this is the sphere, the big sphere. And again we have this, we have no, so I have to go to the specular map, float. Okay. And here I go down. Yep. Okay. Oh, maybe we do here the same. I think this is a little too much. So, color correction again. Color correction. You see, when I go down, I don't have any bump, and then I go up here. Okay, save. For the cube I used one from the texture pack. I used this one. This must look funny with the distortion, so with the collision thing. And make this cubic. Oh yes, I like it. Save it. And for the guy up here, so let's make Shift F8 again. I took a wood texture here. This was the palm tree here. And this is the sphere 1 here. But this is far too much displacement here. Go down with the displacement to say 1. okay. Let's see, so spherical. And this is it, more than less. Save it. And now I want to make some here. It is okay. I want to render some frames. So I want to see this in action with with the jiggle deformer. Okay. Now I save it and I render some frames. I'll show you the render settings. It's a very simple thing. Just Octane. I have only 200 samples or something else. So let's show this as well. So the dialogue. Yes, you see 200 samples, path tracing, so very. As I said, patrons can download the project file and have a look at it. So, render all frames, 720 is for the test more than enough. I don't need to save. Let's see how long one renders. Okay. It should render quite fast. Okay, 6-second frame. Good, I am back when this is done. See you in a second. So, this is rendered and the first frame already looks so nice. Let's see. Yeah, that works perfect with the soft body. Yeah, it's not really a soft body, no, but with the collider. Yeah, I like it. Maybe we'll see the space between the sphere and the cube, but it does not really matter because this seems to be a soft body, so of course it jumps up a little bit. That would be logical for me, that it always jumps and looks so great. Maybe let's make this one a little bigger, maybe. So, but the animation works perfect. We have a perfect loop, and everything looks nice here. But I want to use yes. Whoop. We had no crash with the R3 here until now. So texture projection, no transform. Let's make this a little 1.5. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, no, but I don't want to render this now again, but it looks funny. Okay, I would say we are done here. Let me think if something else to do here. Not really. It looks perfect. Okay. So, as I said, the physical render version, if you need one, you can download on my Patreon site. And yeah, if you have any questions, requests, complaints, let me know, please. And please let me know if we should continue to record in 1440p or if we should go back to 1080p. So that I know what I have to do. Now it seems I want to just see if the GUI is gone. Yeah, now the GUI thing is gone. You see, so this in the settings this embedded GUI is gone. Okay, nice. Yeah, what can I say more? The next tutorial will come as soon as possible, and now I try to make at least 2 free tutorials a month, maybe more, but of course the patrons come first. That's normal, I think, and but I don't forget to make free tutorials, so don't worry. So I don't stop with free tutorials, and I'm working still on my updates for the scene rigs, but honestly, everything works nicely with the scene rigs, and so I just want to add some things, and I've done some little complicated things for me because I'm not a programmer or something else. I try to do everything with Xpresso, and for Python things I have to learn a little Python and C sharp or C plus plus or how it's called. I don't even know the names of the programs. So please be patient a little bit, and yeah, that's it for now. I hope you are all healthy, you are all happy, and you are safe. And I hope you are with me in my next tutorial. And so I wish you a nice evening. Yeah, evening is okay. And yeah, all the best here from Austria, Vienna. Tschüss und Baba.